What I do on a daily basis is I add, subtract, I multiply, and I divide. We get the simple things right for you because we are an advocate and we're a partner that is going to do that for you, is going to sit down and intimately look at your business and be a safe place, and fight for the dreams that you want.
Welcome to Growing Your Business with Buddy Broyles, helping businesses share their voice, build authority, and grow through meaningful conversations. Joining me today on the Growing Your Business podcast is my new friend, Alan Thompson with Get Better Bookkeeping. Alan, how are you?
Hi. Good. Thank you, bud.
Thanks for coming in the studio today.
Thank you.
I want to know, tell me about yourself, your business, just real quick, and what sets you, the important part, what sets your business apart from the other businesses that are out there?
Awesome. Well, my name again is Alan Thompson. I work as an account success manager at Get Better Bookkeeping with Harley Lichty, who's the main owner and founder of the company. I grew up, you might hear, this is not a Texas accent or even an Oklahoma accent. I grew up in Zambia in Africa,
Wow.
which is funny enough. If you took America and you said, okay, where's Oklahoma? And then you took Zambia and said, what's that to Africa? We are also landlocked. We're kind of in the center. We're a little bit forgotten on the smaller side. And so weirdly, I moved half around the world and seemed to find something that's similar to home.
Yeah, found home across the
Yeah.
sea. How about that?
And then in terms of what sets us apart as a business, so Get Better Bookkeeping, it's in the name. We do bookkeeping. And the focus we have is, or the heart behind what we do, and I'm sure Harley's mentioned this, but is he was a business coach for about 5 years.
Yeah.
And found that one of the biggest pains small businesses have is they don't know their numbers. And so what sets us apart is the heart behind why we do what we do. We're not just here to get your books ready for taxes. We are here to get the books together, right, and make sense of them, and then not just give them to you, but tell you exactly what they mean.
Yeah.
Right, and empower you as a business owner. It's weird, but I always say that, hey, if I'm really doing a good job for clients, that means that I'm consistently working my way out of the job because I'm continually educating them on margins or things to track. And that means as we move forward, we are not just staying stable with them, we're moving them towards growth. And I think that's another part that I'd say sets us apart is we are really, really passionate about small business, and having people be successful in why they got into what they got into. Again, I'm an immigrant here, and I love where I come from. I got roped in by an Oklahoma girl. That's wonderful.
It happens.
It happens to all of. I'm sure there's a couple people out there that they were like, so
happens to the best.
it does. But something that has really, people say, what do you love about America? And I say the people. 45% of Americans own small businesses, right? Which make up 99% of other businesses, the businesses that are opened. And gosh, they're hardworking, they're dreamers. And a lot of times they get stuck in their dream. They get stuck working in the business rather than working on the business. Or a baker gets stuck not baking.
Yeah,
right?
Or not baking.
They're not baking.
Yeah.
They're not getting
running
into
the numbers.
it.
Yeah.
They're running numbers, or they are problem solving, and they're doing everything that they didn't want to do in the first place, right? And that's why I love what I do and what I get to do with Harley, because it's been amazing how we can get those businesses unstuck, right?
I really like the point you made, my children are all grown, but advice I was given before my wife and I had kids was put yourself out of a job as a father. And what I heard with Get Better Bookkeeping is client education is so important that you want them to be so empowered that they need less of your service, not more.
Yeah.
Right, because they understand the numbers and things. So the client education, especially up front, is super important because an empowered business owner understands the numbers.
Yeah.
And with that empowerment, they grow.
Yeah. And I think there's a fear that, before we started recording here, you talked about why you do this podcast.
Yeah.
And it's information, it's empowering, and that information is out there and it's at people's fingertips now. But A lot of times there's so much people don't know what to know. But also, I think if you're in business and you have information, and yes, you have to make a living from it, but if you're holding back and you're making your clients make them reliant on you in the right way. A great father doesn't make his kids reliant on them. You want to teach them and they want to go out and they will come back, right?
Yes.
I'm sure, you said that your daughter just turned 25. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm sure you still get questions,
Almost
you know?
daily. Yes.
And
Good
so,
questions too. Good questions. Yeah.
and so I think the value, if we continue to give, and you always want to give more than you're getting from it, right? That's the success of a good business, right? Is the reason I'm willing to pay you, um, you know, X amount for a little Chick-fil-A sandwich is because, geez, there's
Such a great
something in that
sandwich.
sandwich, right?
Yeah.
It's worth more than I'm paying for it, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the value. And if you're not doing that as a business service, then yeah, they'll be there for a season, but they won't come back. And then ultimately, we're not really empowering people here to do what they wanted to do in the first place.
Yeah.
Ready to amplify your brand's voice? At Blue Mike Studios, we transform your ideas into captivating podcasts and videos. Whether you're launching your own show or guest starring on ours, we've got you covered. From recording and editing to social media promotion. With state-of-the-art 4K video and crystal clear audio, your content will shine. We offer guest packages on our podcasts and offer segments from the show for you to share. Or let us help you build your own branded podcast with custom strategy, branding, and full production support. Visit BlueMikeStudios.com today and let your voice be heard.
Let's talk about, everybody loves a good story, Alan.
Yeah.
And so just, from your mind, being working on customer success that you do, someone that came to you with a problem, how did you solve it? Where are they now? How are they doing?
So there's a couple. There's a lot of growth successes, but the ones I really, my background was, I studied business and I did an MBA, a little bit more financial, and I was in mortgage for a bit. And it's amazing how many small businesses or just even individuals, debt plays such a big role and in governing their life. And I think one of the biggest wins for small businesses is when they're able to steer their own ship.
Yeah.
And I've had multiple times where a business owner, and a lot of times, and again, it starts with the numbers. It's hard to say, hey, invest in knowing your numbers, because the first thing people do when there's a fire is you want to go put it out, right? And so you grab a bucket and you start throwing water and you think, okay, I'm just going to throw more and more water on it. And yeah, that doesn't necessarily work. And a lot of business owners, you get into it because you're an entrepreneur, you're creative. So you're like, sales is going to solve this problem. I think some of the biggest wins have been when we've created that timeout and we've taken a step back. We've shown them their numbers. We've tweaked things with efficiency, but then we've got them on the right path and out of debt. And the ones I'm most proud of are not where, okay, hey, we went and looked at consolidating something, great, and now you're in a better place. But it's the ones where it's like, look, there's a 2-year plan here, and you're going to have to struggle for 2 years to get to a point. And getting that person to a point where all of a sudden they're able to not just enjoy the business, but they're able to invest in a new home for themselves. Or I remember being in a call last week with a client, and I was talking to him, and there was a piece. I said, hey, I just want to acknowledge this is a very different conversation than what we usually have. And he said, yeah, I'm hopeful, I'm peaceful. There's still, a ways to go to get to where we need to be, but there's peace that comes with, we're no on a plan. We know we're doing this in a stable way. And this thing that was about to go away all of a sudden is in a better place. And so, yeah, there's some really key wins there. A lot of times business owners just, they see what's in front of them and they don't know what resources are out there. So I love being able to connect them to resources. And again, just educating them, giving them the eyes on what, sometimes you have a great opportunity doesn't mean it's your opportunity in that moment.
Mhm.
And a lot of times business owners just there's a million things and they're like, well, I could invest in CRM, or I could invest in sales, or I could hire someone new, and you're able to take them, focus them, and they're able to leave that meeting with saying, hey, here's the red flags, here's the opportunities, here's the next step. And they're like, great, that's my focus. And when that slowly builds up and you see the outcome a year later, or 2 years later, it's really, really special.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really terrific. How do you like to be reached, Alan? What's the best way for them to get to you?
Best way is look us up on Google. Feel free to give us a call on our number. We would love to speak to you and love to find 30 minutes to find about your business. And we honestly will sit down with you for an hour or two. And sometimes we're not a good fit, or sometimes businesses are not there. But in that time, we want to be as valuable as possible. And then look us up at getbetterbookkeeping.com on our website.
Perfect.
Fill out a form there and we'll get back in touch sometimes within the hour or so. So
That's wonderful.
yeah.
What would you say is your favorite thing, Alan? You wake up in the morning and like, I'm looking forward to this. The favorite thing you do at Get Better Bookkeeping,
Oh man.
or it can be your top five, but I'd
Yeah.
say, what's the thing that puts a smile on your face when you're doing what you do?
One of these maybe sounds selfish, but we work with restaurants, we work with a lot of trades, electricians and construction and some healthcare businesses. Um, we work with law firms and a cigar lounge, right? So sometimes a typical day is 5 meetings in 5 different industries. And gosh, I love getting into the books with them. I love getting into the industry with them and talking to them about their businesses and wrestling with them. I think one of the biggest things I look forward to is meeting those clients. So we require financial meetings. We don't just do your bookkeeping and say, here's the big thing. And I think this is to go back to the first question you asked of what sets us apart is we require financial meetings. And in those meetings, they go in multiple directions. We don't just say, here's your books, but we'll get into sales, we'll get into HR, we'll get into where cost of goods sold are and your labor. And I enjoy wrestling with clients, and I enjoy when we leave those meetings, what gets me up in the morning is those clients being able to say, right, here's a plan, here's what I need to do. And a lot of these business owners, they have no one to talk to, right?
Yeah.
And no one to wrestle with. And so they may have multiple ideas, and they're putting out so many fires sometimes, or sometimes growing, doing so many good things. They're able to say, hey, I don't have time to work on the business, right? I don't have time to, hey, actually, one of the companies that we work with a lot of screen printing and merchandise companies. And someone came and said, hey, I'm a small business and I want to invest in new machinery, which is going to be close to $20,000. I have no time to figure out if this is even a good idea. And I said, great, guess what? I do. So give me some time. Let's walk through it and let's get to you and let's see and I'll come back to you. I'll overthink it and I'll come back to you and say, this is what I have. And that person was able to recently just upscale. And that's amazing,
Yeah. So for people who are out there, and there are many
Yeah.
small businesses, they don't know what they don't know,
Right.
but they do know that they don't know their numbers.
Yeah.
What would you say to them to encourage them to reach out?
What I do on a daily basis is I add, subtract, I multiply, and I divide. We don't sometimes go into really crazy things, but we get the simple things right for you, right? And that's why I want people to reach out, because we are an advocate and we're a partner that is going to do that for you, is going to sit down and intimately look at your business and be a safe place, and fight for the dreams that you want. And I think that's also, if you said, hey, what's one piece of advice? Focus again on the simple things. There's so much, I know we're on a podcast here, but there's so much information out there. And if it's too good to be true, it usually is. If I want to get fit, I need to get to the gym and I need to do it consistently, and I need to do the basics, right? And it's really funny because a lot of people are like, I don't know that technique and everything else. Just, at your fingertips, there are so many resources. And if you walk into it, look into your business and say, hey, I want to grow, but how do I do that in a stable way? How do I do that in a way that this is going to be around 10 or 15 years from now?
The answer is Get Better Bookkeeping. That's what I was telling Harley, and check the show notes, everybody. Alan referred to Harley, the business owner, and there's a whole episode there. So we'll put the link in there so you can hear both conversations. But that's I enjoyed it. That's such a clever name because it's a mantra too. It's just get better bookkeeping. Better. You'll have a better business if you'll do exactly that.
Yeah.
But Alan, it's been great talking to you, hearing your why, your values, that awesome accent, that Oklahoman accent, But it's been great having you here, and I enjoy seeing the passion for what you do just come alive.
Yeah. Thank you.